In the quiet suburbs of Chicago, the Carter household was a place of both privilege and hidden sorrow. Emily Carter, a 35-year-old self-made billionaire, had built an empire in tech and real estate, her life filled with business meetings, gala events, and endless travel. Yet no amount of wealth could fill the emptiness she felt, watching her 8-year-old daughter, Lily, struggle with a condition that kept her confined to a wheelchair. Born with a rare muscular disorder, Lily had never experienced the simple joy of running, jumping, or even walking across a room on her own. Her eyes, bright and curious, often betrayed a deep longing for freedom that money and medical interventions had failed to provide. Emily had spared no expense trying to help her daughter, from the country's top pediatric specialists to experimental therapies abroad. Every avenue had been explored. But despite all these efforts, Lily's legs remained weak, fragile, and unresponsive. Emily often felt a helplessness that her fortune could not mask. She spent countless nights by Lily's side, helping her with exercises, feeding her, and comforting her when she cried out in frustration. Every failure felt like a personal defeat, a reminder that no matter how much she had achieved in the business world, she could not conquer the limitations imposed on her daughter's body. Yet, Emily's love for Lily was unwavering. She shielded her from the pitying looks of others, emphasizing that her daughter's worth was not defined by her physical abilities. Still, the desire to see Lily walk, to watch her run and play like other children, remained a persistent ache in Emily's heart. One crisp autumn afternoon, a minor but unexpected incident set the course for change. Emily's classic vintage car, a prized possession she rarely drove herself, broke down on a quiet residential street not far from their home. The car had been giving occasional trouble, but Emily hadn't anticipated it failing on such a peaceful afternoon. With a sigh, she called the local repair shop and requested immediate assistance. Jake Miller, a 28-year-old mechanic known for his skill and gentle demeanor, arrived within the hour. Unlike many in the affluent circles Emily frequented, Jake carried no airs of prestige or entitlement. He was a man grounded in honesty, kindness, and a dedication to his craft. As he approached the vehicle, Lily, curious about the noise and activity, rolled her wheelchair closer to the driveway. Jake noticed the small girl and greeted her with a warm smile. "Hi there, I'm Jake. Are you going to be my helper today?" he asked playfully, crouching to her level. Lily hesitated at first, unsure how to respond, but the genuine kindness in his tone coaxed a shy smile from her lips. Emily observed quietly from the passenger side, impressed by Jake's gentle approach. Unlike the hurried professionals Lily had encountered in medical settings, Jake spoke slowly, patiently, and with a sense of humor that made her feel comfortable. He allowed Lily to touch the tools and watch him examine the car, explaining his work in terms she could understand. It was a small interaction, seemingly mundane, but the seeds of trust and connection were planted that day. Over the next few days, Jake found excuses to stop by the Carter residence under the pretext of follow-up checks for the car. Each visit, he spent a little more time with Lily, talking to her about cars, wheels, and balance. He noticed her fascination with movement and subtly encouraged her to shift her weight. Practice small leg movements and attempt simple stretches. Lily, naturally curious and bright, responded eagerly. Emily watched in awe, noticing that her daughter's mood seemed lighter after Jake's visits. There was a spark of excitement in Lily's eyes, a glimmer of possibility that she hadn't felt in years. Jake never pushed her, never forced her, and never framed his exercises as therapy. Instead, he made it feel like play, an adventure that Lily could explore safely. As weeks passed, Lily began showing small but promising signs of improvement. With Jake's guidance, she could hold herself upright for a few seconds, shift her weight from one leg to another, and even take a tiny step while supported. Emily felt a mixture of hope and cautious skepticism. She wanted to believe, but years of disappointment had made her wary of getting her expectations too high. Yet every milestone, no matter how small, ignited a quiet joy within her heart. She began documenting each progress, secretly hoping that one day her daughter would achieve what had long seemed impossible. Jake's role in Lily's life was transformative, not only for her, but for Emily as well. He introduced patience, compassion, and encouragement in a way that no amount of wealth or medical intervention had. His belief in Lily's abilities, even when she doubted herself, began to instill confidence in her young mind. Emily realized that sometimes the greatest miracles were not purchased, but nurtured through care, understanding, and unwavering support. The presence of someone who genuinely believed in Lily made a profound difference, slowly, breaking through the layers of doubt, fear, and frustration that had accumulated over the years. By the end of the first month, Lily's progress was undeniable. She could now stand for brief moments while holding onto Jake's hands, her face lighting up with pride at each successful attempt. Emily's eyes welled up with tears as she watched, her heart swelling with a mixture of relief, gratitude, and awe. It was a delicate, fragile victory, but a victory nonetheless. The once insurmountable dream of walking seemed tangible, within reach, and profoundly real. The quiet Chicago suburb, the Carter mansion, and the small neighborhood garage had become the backdrop for a story of hope, resilience, and the unexpected power of kindness. What began as a minor car repair had evolved into a journey that would forever change the life of a little girl and the family who loved her beyond measure. As autumn gave way to early winter, the Carter residence had begun to transform in subtle but meaningful ways. Lily's world, once confined to the wheelchair that had been both her companion and limitation, started to expand. The simple act of standing with support became a daily ritual, something she anticipated with a mix of excitement and determination. Jake Miller, ever patient and encouraging, continued to visit the family after his work at the garage. Each session was filled with laughter, gentle guidance, and incremental challenges that Lily met with growing confidence. Emily watched closely, sometimes silently shedding tears of both relief and disbelief. She had never imagined that a mechanic, someone entirely outside the medical and academic world she knew, could connect with her daughter in a way that truly made a difference. Jake's approach was natural, intuitive, and profoundly human. Over the weeks, Lily's progress became more pronounced. Her balance improved, and she began to understand how to distribute her weight, engaging muscles that had been dormant for years. Jake would guide her hands on his shoulders, urging her to trust her legs. "You've got this, Lily," he would say with calm reassurance, never pressing too hard, but always gently nudging her to reach further. At first, she wobbled and stumbled, falling back into the wheelchair when her muscles gave out, but each fall was followed by encouragement, not frustration. Jake celebrated even the smallest victories, a shift in her posture, a longer pause while standing, a step taken with minimal support. The psychological effect was just as important as the physical. Lily began to believe that she could walk, a belief that Emily had prayed would come one day, but had struggled to nurture alone. Emily's role evolved during this time as well. No longer simply an observer, she became an active participant in Lily's exercises. She learned from Jake how to support her daughter without overprotecting her, how to encourage effort rather than perfection. Their living room and backyard became spaces of practice and play, where laughter intertwined with determination. Lily's frustration still appeared on difficult days when muscles tired and progress seemed slow, but she quickly realized she was not alone. The presence of Jake and her mother created a safe environment where mistakes were part of learning, not signs of failure. This new dynamic slowly reshaped the family's daily life, infusing it with hope and anticipation that had been absent for years. One crisp morning, after weeks of persistent effort, Jake suggested they try something more ambitious. In the spacious backyard, surrounded by neatly trimmed hedges and autumn leaves, he encouraged Lily to stand without holding on to anything while he stayed nearby, ready to catch her if needed. The air was filled with tension and excitement. Emily held her breath, hiding her anxiety behind a smile. Lily planted her feet firmly on the ground, knees trembling, and took a deep breath. For a few heart-stopping seconds she maintained her balance independently. Her wide eyes met Emily's, who was visibly moved, and she felt a rush of pride she had never experienced before. Though the moment lasted only moments before Lily wobbled back into Jake's supportive arms, it was a monumental milestone. The realization that she could indeed stand, alone, even briefly, ignited a determination in her that nothing could extinguish. From that day forward, Lily practiced with renewed vigor. Each session involved longer periods of standing, repeated small steps, and exercises designed to strengthen her core and legs. Emily began documenting each progress meticulously, taking videos and notes that captured the subtle changes over time. She shared in her daughter's triumphs, clapping, cheering, and sometimes shedding silent tears of joy. The bond between the family and Jake deepened. He was no longer simply a helper or mechanic, but a mentor and friend who understood the delicate interplay between encouragement, patience, and realistic challenge. His presence became a source of inspiration not just for Lily, but for Emily as well, reminding her that love and dedication could unlock possibilities that money alone could never achieve. Then came the day that would forever be etched in their memories. Jake suggested they try walking across the backyard, with his hands hovering just behind Lily for safety. The grass was soft underfoot, and the air crisp and bright with winter sunlight. Lily's small hands gripped the edges of her mother's or Jake's hands, and she took one cautious step, then another. Emily's heart raced with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Step by step, Lily moved forward, her confidence growing with every motion. The wheelchair, once an inseparable part of her identity, now stood to the side, no longer a necessity in that moment. Tears streamed down Emily's face as she witnessed her daughter moving. Independently, however briefly, the emotional release was overwhelming. Years of frustration, worry, and helplessness poured out in silent gratitude and awe. By the end of that afternoon, Lily had taken several independent steps, supported only intermittently by Jake's steady hands. The joy on her face was radiant, her laughter filling the air, contagious and uplifting. Emily embraced her daughter, feeling a profound sense of wonder and relief. This was no longer a distant dream. It was a tangible, living reality. The effort, patience, and unwavering belief in Lily's potential had paid off in a way that felt miraculous. Jake, modest and unassuming, smiled quietly, sharing in the triumph without seeking recognition. The simple truth was undeniable. Sometimes the greatest miracles were born not of advanced technology or wealth, but of kindness, dedication, and the human spirit. In the days that followed, the Carter family continued to nurture Lily's newfound mobility. Each morning, she practiced walking, gradually relying less on support and more on her own strength. Emily, ever the watchful mother, remained close, but allowed Lily the independence she had longed for. Jake's guidance remained steady, his encouragement constant, but now Lily's progress began to accelerate. The small steps she had taken in the backyard became longer strides, and with each one, her confidence soared. Friends and family who visited were astonished, witnessing firsthand the transformation of a girl who had once been confined to a wheelchair. The joy that radiated from Lily's face, the laughter that filled the once quiet home, and the deep gratitude in Emily's eyes told a story of hope, perseverance, and the extraordinary power of human connection. Winter had settled fully over Chicago, casting a soft, crisp chill across the city, but inside the Carter home, warmth and excitement permeated every corner. Lily's progress had continued steadily, each day revealing new strength, balance, and independence. The little girl who had once depended entirely on her wheelchair now moved with a grace and determination that amazed everyone around her. Her laughter, once reserved and cautious, now echoed freely through the halls, a sound that brought Emily both relief and an overwhelming joy she had never known. Jake Miller remained a constant presence, patient and steady, guiding Lily through exercises, encouraging her to push her limits and celebrating each milestone with quiet pride. Though Emily was endlessly grateful for his help, she was struck most by the profound change she saw in her daughter, the transformation of spirit as well as body. One bright morning, Jake suggested that Lily try walking across the spacious backyard without holding on to anything, a test of balance and courage she had not yet attempted. Emily's heart pounded at the thought, a mix of hope and anxiety coursing through her. She watched silently as Lily positioned her feet, focusing intently, her small hands relaxed at her sides. For a long, suspended moment she hesitated, gathering her courage. Then, with a deep breath, she took her first independent step. The motion was wobbly, fragile, yet undeniably real. Emily's tears sprang unbidden, streaming down her face as she clutched her hands over her heart, unable to contain the rush of emotions. Jake stayed close, but let Lily move forward on her own, a proud smile lighting his features. Lily continued step by step, gaining confidence with each movement. Her legs, once weak and unresponsive, now bore her weight with determination and growing strength. Emily's emotions overflowed, pride, relief, and awe, mingled in a tidal wave she had no words for. The years of struggle, disappointment, and helplessness that had once felt insurmountable seemed to vanish in the simple act of watching her daughter walk. For Lily, it was a revelation of freedom and possibility. The wheelchair, a constant companion for so long, had become a symbol of a past she was leaving behind. She beamed with pure joy, turning occasionally to share her triumph with her mother and Jake, her eyes sparkling with wonder. Over the following days, Lily's abilities continued to flourish. Each morning, she practiced walking longer distances, sometimes across the house, other times venturing into the backyard under Jake's watchful eye. Emily joined in, holding Lily's hands briefly, then letting go as the girl moved forward with increasing independence. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Friends and family who visited were astonished to see the once wheelchair-bound girl now walking confidently, taking playful steps, and even attempting small runs across the grass. Laughter filled the Carter home like never before, mingling with the occasional tears of joy from Emily, who could not believe the journey her daughter had made. Every day was a celebration of courage, resilience, and the power of unwavering support. Jake, humble and quiet, watched from the sidelines, proud but never seeking attention. His presence had been instrumental in Lily's journey, yet he never treated the progress as anything extraordinary. To him, it was simply a matter of patience, understanding, and consistent encouragement. He had recognized Lily's potential early on, offering guidance that respected her pace and abilities. In doing so, he had created an environment where she felt safe to explore, fail, and try again without fear. Emily often reflected on this, realizing that no amount of wealth or medical intervention could replicate what Jake had provided: human connection, empathy, and belief in the impossible. The day finally came when Lily could walk across the entire backyard unaided, turning occasionally to grin at Emily and Jake. Her joy was boundless, the expression on her face radiant and pure, Emily's heart swelled as she rushed forward, enveloping her daughter in a tight embrace, tears flowing freely. The years of fear, worry, and uncertainty melted away in that moment, replaced by an uncontainable sense of triumph. Lily had achieved what had once seemed unimaginable. The experience not only transformed her body, but fortified her spirit, instilling a newfound confidence that extended beyond walking. She began, approaching other challenges with determination, eager to explore her abilities and embrace life with courage. In the following weeks, the family adapted to Lily's new reality. She no longer required her wheelchair for daily activities, though it remained nearby for occasions that demanded extra energy. Emily, whose life had long revolved around schedules, meetings, and wealth, found herself devoting more time to nurturing her daughter's independence. She celebrated small victories, encouraged continued practice, and allowed Lily to explore her world with increasing freedom. Jake remained a vital mentor, guiding exercises, celebrating successes, and fostering an environment where Lily could thrive. The bond between them deepened, a testament to the extraordinary impact that patience, kindness, and genuine care can have on a child's life. The story of Lily's first steps soon became a quiet inspiration for friends and neighbors. Emily, who had once relied solely on her fortune to solve problems, realized the immeasurable value of compassion and human connection. She began supporting Jake's local garage, providing resources to help children with physical challenges, hoping to extend the same opportunity to others. Lily's journey from wheelchair to independent walking became a symbol of hope, demonstrating the power of determination, encouragement, and love. What began as a minor car repair had evolved into a life-changing journey, proving that miracles can arise from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the greatest gifts are not bought, but nurtured with patience, care, and unwavering belief. By the end of the season, Lily was running small distances, playing outside with friends, and exploring her surroundings. With joy that had once been impossible, Emily watched, heart full, knowing that her daughter's courage and perseverance, combined with Jake's guidance and kindness, had opened a new chapter in their lives. The once quiet, constrained household had transformed into a space of freedom, laughter, and hope. In that small corner of Chicago, a story of resilience and human connection had unfolded, proving that the bonds we form, the patience we practice, and the love we share can overcome even the most daunting challenges, leaving a lasting imprint on hearts and lives.